Hey everybody, how's it going today? My name is Reegan MacAulay and welcome back to another episode of Hurricane Havoc. Hopefully things are back to normal now after Mother Nature's melee last week, and that must be certain coming off this past weekend because the Holland Hurricanes continue to win games with several conference championships quickly approaching. We start this one off with some important news and information, beginning with this week's Hurricanes Athletes of the Week. The female athlete of the week is Lauren Armstrong, who was lethal in the women's basketball team's recent win against the Mount St. Vincent University Mystics, where she had one of the greatest clutch performances you'll ever see. The Australian recorded 26 points, 14 assists, 10 rebounds, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. The male athlete of the week is Carson Gray, who recorded 23 kills, 9 digs, 2 blocks, and 2 assists between 2 wins for the men's volleyball team, which we'll also get into later. Congratulations to both Lauren and Carson for these achievements. The Canes are seeking a new head coach for the baseball team. If you have what it takes to bring our baseball program to the next level and add to the history of 4 championship banners and multiple national medals, send us an application and join us in creating more history here within the Holland Hurricanes. Now to team coverage, beginning with the women's volleyball team, which unfortunately experienced heartbreak this past Saturday in Halifax, Nova Scotia. What I mean by heartbreak is winning the first 2 sets against the Mount St. Vincent University Mystics, and then losing the next 3. Just that close to beating the third-ranked team who was 11-3 right before. Despite the loss, Morgan White, Jenna O'Neill, and Ella Hickey all had strong performances, and they'll all look to help their team get back on track this upcoming weekend with a pair of home games at the McMillan Center. Both games will be the final ones of the regular season for Holland, so if you want to catch some volleyball action before the team heads to St. John, New Brunswick for the conference championships, your last chance is coming very soon. The Canes welcome the second-ranked Mount Allison Mounties on Saturday, February 17th, and will play a rematch against the MSVU Mystics on Sunday, February 18th. Now into men's volleyball, who, they had quite the turbulent weekend, but it was also very successful as they came out of it with a 3-set sweep on the road and a big come-from-behind win at home. The team started their journey with a visit to Moncton, New Brunswick to play the Crandall University Chargers, who hoped to earn their second win of the season, but Holland was not going to allow that. The next day, the Canes returned to Charlottetown for a critical game at the McMillan Center. After being swept by the St. Thomas University Tommies a few days earlier, the 2 teams were tied for second in the conference heading into the game. With 5th-year player Marcus Lapointe playing his final career home game, and considering the game was the last one for the men at home before the conference championships, they had a big task to fill in front of their fans one last time. In quite possibly the greatest volleyball game Canes fans have ever seen in a long time, Holland and St. Thomas put up an absolute dogfight. Holland barely took the first set. St. Thomas rallied back with better hits and blocks in the second set. The Canes were 2 points away from winning the third set, but the Tommies stunned them 26-24. The Canes fired everything they had from the 4th set onward, forcing an extra set, and Izuma Uday sealed the deal with a big kill to send the crowd home happy.
McBride back to Wada to end the game! Izuma Wada with a huge kill as the Hurricanes doing their victory dance here on the court.
Uday, Carson Gray, Tyler McBride, and Brent McCausland all had a spectacular weekend. Marcus Lapointe recorded 15 digs and 2 assists in his final career home game. The now 9-5 squad returns to action this weekend with a road trip to New Brunswick to visit none other than the Tommies in Fredericton on Saturday. On Sunday, on the way home, the Canes will make a stop in St. John, New Brunswick to play the 6-9 University of New Brunswick St. John Seawolves. Now let's jump to basketball, where the women's team pulled off what had to be one of the greatest upsets in Canes history with an incredible come-from-behind win at the McMillan Center against the top team in the conference. Initially, it was the Mount St. Vincent University Mystics who had to come from behind, as Holland had a fantastic start, leading 16-6 before the Mystics called a timeout. 7 points and 2 free throws later, MSVU was back in the game, and the team exploded in the second quarter, taking control of the game up until the dying minutes of the fourth quarter. Suddenly, Holland scored 7 straight points, and MSVU called a timeout. Honestly, from there, I'm just going to let you watch the highlights. Show, don't tell.
Trying to take as much time as she can, but instead goes in for the shot and draws the foul. And this game is tied, ladies and gentlemen. Gets it to Plaganoff. Plaganoff resets it to the top. Long range two. Amy Plaganoff opens up a 10-point Holland College lead. What a comeback, ladies and gentlemen. The Holland College Hurricanes down 19 points in the third quarter. Storm all the way back.
You can catch the team back in action this weekend with its final home game of the season at the McMillan Center on Saturday as the third-ranked University of King's College Blue Devils come to town. Now onto the men's team, which had a less than desirable result last Saturday with a close 87-76 loss to the second-ranked MSVU Mystics at home. The Mystics jumped out to an 8-0 lead, and from there, the Canes were able to close the gap multiple times, but they just couldn't find a way to tie things up nor take the lead. Zachary Dawkins, Bryce Corliss, and Aaron Simmons were the top contributors in the game with a combined 64 points. The team is now tied for third in the conference and will look to break the tie with its final home game of the season this Saturday, right after the women's game. The men's UKC Blue Devils also make a visit to Charlottetown, seeking their first win of the season. And lastly, we cover women's hockey, where the Canes concluded their season with a doubleheader sweep against the Cape Breton University Capers at the Eastlink Center this past weekend. With 3-1 and 5-0 wins, improving the team's record to 6-1-1, the 2023-2024 Women's Hockey Hurricanes are your regular season champions of the Atlantic Collegiate Hockey Association. The team was given much support and enthusiasm by Canes alumni and minor hockey players over the weekend, who the team sincerely thanks. Rookie Taylor Gillis was the star of the doubleheader with an overall 6 goals and 1 assist between 2 games, giving her 9 goals and 5 assists in 8 games to conclude her first season as a Hurricane. Fellow rookies Kristen Taylor and Bree Hughes also scored goals. Captain JC McMillan recorded an overall 4 assists, and veteran goaltender Emma Arsenault won both games while also claiming her 4th shutout of the season. Now the team sets its eyes on the 2024 ACHA Championships, which will take place in Wolfville, Nova Scotia on the weekend of March 1st through 3rd. We will preview it all in just a few weeks' time, so stay tuned. And with that, another episode of Hurricane Havoc comes to a close, and now you know what's happened recently and what's coming up next. I'm your host, Reegan MacAulay, signing off. I will see you on the other side, and remember to fear the storm.